In this episode of Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, I sit down with Wizard Leaf, Princess Leaf, Barbarian Leaf, and Queen Leaf to give you our thoughts of Valeria Card Kingdoms, who also have some expansion packs currently on Kickstarter for a few more days. And then afterwards, we'll dive straight into Kickstarter Corner. But first, this episode is proudly powered by one of our proud Kickstarter backers, Northwest Games. They're running a Kickstarter. It's not a game, but can still be used on your tabletop. It's the tabletop tray system complete with the dice tower. There's small trays and large trays and 12 options of different kinds of wood. I didn't even know that there were that many kinds of wood. Go check out Tabletop Tray System. That'll be on Kickstarter until Saturday, the 20th of April. This episode is powered by The Great Nameless, a game of divine might and cosmic horror. Sibling gods declare war on each other while their mindless progenitor threatens to destroy all of creation. It's for 1 to 4 players. Catch our interview with Josh in their update entitled The Great Nameless, featured on podcast Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. It'll be on Kickstarter through Sunday, the 31st of March. This episode is also powered by the Character Casket, a coffin that holds and includes all of your essentials to be a player in a session of Dungeons & Dragons. They're almost halfway to their goal and will be on Kickstarter through Monday, the 15th of April. This episode is powered by Overbattle, the all-war which launched on Kickstarter earlier this week and will be on there through Saturday, the 20th of April. More to be said during our Kickstarter Corner portion of the show. This episode is also powered by Heroes of History. For listeners of the show, you can get a 10% rebate by emailing a copy of your receipt to sam@bradensworld.com. Plus, the first 10 listeners to leave an Amazon or eBay review, he'll send you an extra 5% rebate as well. This episode is also proudly being powered by Solar Flare Games. Their latest, Robotech Crisis Point, has entered production and can now be pre-ordered with some extra pre-order limited edition Robotech items and exclusives. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to my episode entitled Robotech Crisis Point to find out more and pre-order it before they run out.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
The Leafs were craving an adventure, so to their surprise, they woke up in Valeria this morning. It was a beautiful forest on an island, or so it seemed, until they discovered that there were also some very scary monsters that they could no way defeat on their own. But a challenge was made between them. Whoever could take down the most monsters before lunch time would be the victor. They all proudly took this challenge upon them. There were other people in this forest, so they used their persuasive powers as well as money and magic to build up their own teams to rid Valeria of monsters for good, or at least enough to win the pride of beating the other Leafs. I went for more of an army of knights and butchers than anything else because there's nothing like monster meat for a Saturday afternoon meal. Wizard Leaf relied more upon that of magic. Princess Leaf tried to use her cuteness. She amassed quite an army by doing this. But Barbarian Leaf chose the toughest men and warriors he could find in this land of Valeria. Then he rampaged the monsters within the forest, taking down the biggest and best monsters there are. Needless to say, he ended up bringing the victory upon himself, and I didn't get to enjoy an MLT, aka a monster lettuce tomato. I guess I'll try to keep my butcher around a little while longer. Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either, but this is the story of the Leafs playing Valeria Card Kingdoms. Today we're joined by none other than Princess Leaf to talk all about Valeria Card Kingdoms. How you doing, Princess Leaf?
Good.
That's good to hear. Yeah, we played Valeria Card Kingdoms. What did you think about that game?
It was super fun. It was like Machikoro.
Okay, so how do you play Valeria Card Kingdoms?
Basically, you have like a group of things, and there are different cards that have different abilities. You get different rewards, and yeah.
So me and you sat down to play. How are we going to play?
We would like roll dice, and then we would get the reward, and yeah.
You get rewarded with strength, magic, and coins. What do you do with the strength, magic, and coins, Princess Leaf?
You can use the magic as anything. You just need to use one different thing. You could use the money to buy something and use the strength to attack a monster.
Yep, and the one with the most victory points at the end wins. So that's awesome. Now, Princess Leaf, what did you think about the game?
It was awesome
What was your favorite part of Valeria Card Kingdoms?
playing it.
Well, that's good to hear. And how many Leafs would you give Valeria Card Kingdoms?
About 20,
About 20. Why is that?
because it's fun.
Did you know that there are some expansion packs for this game on Kickstarter for a few more days?
Yes.
If you had the money based upon playing the base game today, would you back it on Kickstarter?
Yes.
And what are some of the games that you'd like to play when we can?
Machikoro, Wing It, and also Monopoly.
Monopoly? That sounds fun. Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, Barbarian Leaf. How you been doing? It's been a while.
Good.
So we played Valeria Card Kingdoms today. What did you think about the game?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. What was your favorite part of the game?
Winning.
Winning? Who you won?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
By kicking everybody butt.
Okay, so how do you play? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
You're trying to kill monsters, get victory points, use coins to get people, and you can have more to get more stuff once you get the dice rolled on.
Okay, cool. And did you know that they have an expansion pack for this game on Kickstarter currently?
No.
Well, they do. If you had the money based on playing the base game, which we played today, would you back it on Kickstarter?
Sure.
How many Leafs would you give it?
Like about 1,000.
1,000. Why so many?
What's wrong with so many?
Nothing. Can you tell us what you liked about the game?
Winning and victory points. The looks of the victory points.
Oh, yeah, they had little victory point meeples. That's cool. Anything else you liked about the game?
And the people, some of them.
Cool. And what would you tell your friends about Valeria Card Kingdoms?
Play it if you wanna. Pretty good game.
Well, there you go. There you have it from Barbarian Leaf. Can you go get Wizard Leaf and we'll see what he thinks?
Sure thing.
While we're waiting for Wizard Leaf to come and share his insights on this game, I thought I'd tell you what I thought of Valeria Card Kingdoms. So, I really like it. We sat down and we were able to play it a couple weeks back ago at Game Group. It was pretty fun. Me and Wizard Leaf and Chris James of our Game Group, who also runs Boardy TV as well as Casual Game Insider, and we had a fun time playing it. I don't remember who won, but so what Valeria Card Kingdoms is, in case you were not familiar with it, it's from Daily Magic Games. And it is a tableau building game. I believe that's what they call them, tableau building games. So you have somewhat of a tableau, I guess. I think it's kind of like an engine. I would call it like an engine, but people call it tableau building. So you get 2 base cards which have a number on the top. And that tells you if you roll that certain number, you get rewards based on what number you roll. Like, say, you get a 5 and a 6 card to start off with, and I rolled a 5 and a 6. I would get the reward for both of them. Plus, you get the 5 and the 6, and if you got a card that says 11 on it, you would also get that reward as well. So it's got a really easy setup. It's a really easy and fun play. I really liked it and enjoyed it. If I had to make one change about it, I would say the box felt kind of cramped to me because there's a lot of factions and stuff, but I think there's ways around it. I much prefer this. I really like Machikoro, but I think I prefer this one as it's got a lot more theme with the whole fantasy trope, and you're going around killing monsters instead of just building a city. I love the artwork, and just the gameplay was pretty fun. I would recommend playing with older children or older people. The kids, Barbarian Leaf and Princess Leaf, did a great job, but I would recommend maybe a little bit older, just with some of the time constraints and whatnot. But it's a pretty fun game. I think everybody enjoyed it. I know I did. It's pretty fun. The space is limited, like grabbing the different components. You have to be patient, so it's a good patient building in trying to get your components, unless you have them set up on the table or somewhere else where everybody can reach and they're not in the box, because it is kind of small. But no, like I said, I really like it. I like it more than Majikoro. I think we should get it to the table a little bit sooner again. I did lose, but I think that's because we missed off a very important component for victory winning at the end. Everybody gets a Duke. But we'll talk more about that with Wizard Leaf, as he kind of remembered it from Game Group. But anyways, I would give this a lot of stars, probably 100 stars. Oh, 100 leaves, yeah, what am I saying? Giving them stars when it's supposed to be leaves? But yeah, I liked Valeria Card Kingdoms, and in case you didn't know, and you probably did if you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, they are currently running a Kickstarter. Let me tell you a little bit about that Kickstarter that they're running, if you will. So, through this Tuesday, middle of the afternoon, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, they're running a Kickstarter for Crimson Seas. So, they're making 3, not just 1, not just 2, but 3 expansion packs. Well, I guess 2 expansion packs, as well as a standalone dice game, all based in the world of Valeria. So I'm kind of excited. Yeah, it looks like with Crimson Seas that you're based in pirates. So there's pirates coming. And yeah, just it builds off the world, plus a lot more people. And they're really blowing through stretch goals as well. They funded it in 3 hours. They're going for $25,000. They've already achieved $87,000, over 87, almost $88,000. And you still have through this Tuesday to come up and back it. And like I said, they're blowing through the stretch goals currently. So that's pretty cool. And that's 3 different games. So you should definitely go ahead and check that out. At the time of recording, they were $87,000. So they're almost to the $90,000 stretch goal. And then there's also a $100,000 stretch goal listed as well. Plus, it's really easy to get all of the packages of the 3 different things. $45 gives you Crimson Seas as well as Corsairs. Or if you just want Crimson Seas or Corsairs, you can do that as well. But I would definitely recommend, if you like the base game or you have the base game, to check this out. And if you haven't checked out the base game, I would definitely do that as well, because this was a pretty fun game. Well, now let's go ahead and see what other people thought about it. So now we're joined by none other than Wizard Leaf. It's been a while. How you doing, Wizard Leaf?
I'm doing alright.
That's good to hear. So yeah, today we played Valeria Card Kingdom. What did you think about that game?
I thought it was pretty fun. I don't usually win at it, but it's still pretty enjoyable of a game.
Well, that's good to hear. So, somebody's listening, and how did they play Valeria Card Kingdom, or how did you play?
Well, basically, it's a game where you roll dice. So you have these 2 dice, and you have to roll them, and you start out with these 2 cards that they have a dice number at the top, and at the bottom there's a description of an item you can get, because you can either get a coin or an attack point, which you can use to fight monsters later on. And to get those items, you have to roll the dice, and you get one for every time it lines up with the card number. So you look at both dices and you see the number that's on them, and then you add the 2 together, and that makes a 3rd number. And if any of those match the cards you have, you get that item. And you can build up coins from your starting coin one, which you can use to buy new cards which have different items you can get from them and different dice values, and you have to get all of those, and the game ends when you've beaten all of the monsters or exhausted a certain number of piles of the new people you can buy, and you have to have the most victory points at the end of the game to win, and you can usually get those from monsters or getting domains, which are little places you can buy that give you certain perks as long as you have them or once you buy them. And we forgot to do it this time, but when you start the game, you get this card called a Duke card, which has like this secret goal on it, and if you beat that at the end of the game, you can get some extra victory points for that as well.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. So the first time of the game, we played a game group, as well as at home. How did the two experiences compare for you?
Well, at the base level, they were all the same, but there were some major differences in that it seems like when we played it at game group, we forgot to follow quite a few of the rules. Though when we played at home, we followed most of those, but also forgot to use the Duke cards like we used last time. Though we also used a different setup of characters you could get, monsters you could fight, and I think I slightly enjoyed the game group version better because we were able to do more, but I also prefer playing by the rules, so I probably had the most actual fun with when we played it at home, though it took a bit getting used to because I didn't expect that it was going to be played differently.
Yeah, you can actually set it up different ways. I set it up according to the rule book for the first play, but afterwards, just as long as you have those 5 rows with 4 columns, or it's a 5x4 grid, and as long as you have that, you can use, they have all kinds of different characters in it. So, using the Dukes, what did that add to the game?
Well, it added like another level of strategy and long-term thinking, because on top of everything else, you had to be working to make sure that you met that special condition, because you didn't have to do it, but it could really give you an extra edge over everybody else if you managed to do it, and if you picked a good one. Though when we played it, they were randomly assigned, and I'm not sure whether or not that's the proper way to do it, but whatever you get, either way, if you follow the secret goal on it and make sure you keep that in mind, you can usually get some extra victory points that might help you get an edge over the competition.
Awesome. And overall, what do you think about Valeria Card Kingdoms?
I think it's a pretty fun game. It's definitely one of my favorites. Though it would probably help me more if I got more acquainted with the rules first, so it's a bit less confusing to play, but that wasn't really the game's fault, but just more so the two different opposing ways we played it. But it's definitely one of my favorite games, and I really enjoy the mechanics and such.
Oh, wow. So it's up there in the top now?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's always fun when a game comes up. So did it take out Risk or any of the other ones, or where is it at?
I wouldn't say so necessarily, but it's probably between Risk and Monopoly.
Oh, cool. And those are your top 2, but somewhere up there?
I'd say Summoner Wars is my favorite, and then Risk is my second favorite, and then this will probably be my third favorite.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I love to get new games in front of people, and that's awesome that you like it that much. We'll have to play Machi Koro. It's a similar style. See what you think about that. I like this one with the theme a little bit better. The other one, you're just building cities or whatnot. But this one's got the fantasy theme. What did you think about the theme and the art?
I definitely enjoyed the theme. That actually probably gave another level of enjoyment to it, because it was a lot more unique than if it really didn't have a theme, and I tend to enjoy the medieval fantasy themes a lot.
Oh, that's cool. Did you have a favorite monster or a favorite character, I guess?
I'm not sure that I really had a favorite monster, because I honestly didn't pay much attention to those besides just fighting them, though. The fire skeleton looks pretty cool.
Cool, that's pretty good. So that's awesome. Now, did you know that they have some expansion packs for this game on Kickstarter for a few more days?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well they do. So they have 2 expansion packs for the game, as well as a standalone dice game, all set in the world of Valeria.
Do they add any new like gameplay mechanics, or is it just like new cards and stuff?
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure, but I know they have like different characters. I believe it's let's see here. We can look at it really quick with you. Yeah, Valeria Card Kingdoms Crimson Seas. So I believe actually adds pirates is what I can gather out of here. Yeah, it looks like the same cards probably, but just different characters or whatnot, if I'm looking at it right.
So it looks kind of like with the mechanic that allows you to customize the game. You could switch out the normal ones for the pilot cards, or even mix and match them a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it looks like. So that's pretty cool. So you got them on Valeria, and they're going through their stretch goals. Now, if you had the money based on the gameplay, both here at home as well as Game Group, would this be a Kickstarter that you would go ahead and back?
Well, I'd like to read through the Kickstarter page more fully just to make sure, but I think just off of my first impression of the game itself, definitely.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you want people to study out the Kickstarters. So if somebody's listening right now, they better go ahead and do that, as at the time of this recording, there's only about 66 hours to go, as this project will end on Tuesday, the 26th of March. So this Tuesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But yeah, definitely, we'd encourage people to go ahead and read through the Kickstarter or whatnot so they can find out more about it. Now, what are some games that we have that we haven't necessarily played yet that you'd like to get to the table as soon as we can?
Well, I'm honestly not too familiar with any of the games that we outright haven't played, but I think I'd be interested in doing a review, like in a podcast episode, on Summoner Wars or Star Realms or games like that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if we ever did a Star Realms one. I want to say we vaguely did a Summoner War one way back when, but I think it would be more in depth and we'd be able to give them a better run for their money, I guess, don't you think?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So awesome, yeah. And oh, yeah, so talking about that, so maybe somebody's new to gaming and whatnot, would you recommend a game group? Is that a good thing?
I think it would be, yeah. It would probably help a lot if it's not just like random people, but some of the people in the group already did have experience playing games and such, but that would definitely help new people get more involved with it and experience to be able to play, and it tends to give a more fun experience.
Awesome. And yeah, we're looking forward to, we'll be able to go to a con, so that's going to be kind of fun. So yeah, anything else going on in the gaming world that you can think of, or other things you've seen, maybe other podcasters or YouTubers, anything done with games you might know about that you can tell us about, Wizard Leaf?
Unfortunately not. I haven't really been paying too much attention to gaming things lately because I've been pretty busy.
Well, that's okay, but we enjoyed having you play Valeria Card Kingdoms with us, and it sounds like you'd play this again?
I definitely would.
Awesome. So yeah, Daily Magic Games, go ahead and take a chance. Like Wizard Leaf said, go ahead and look at their Kickstarter page, read it through, and see if it's something you want to get. But yeah, thank you for joining us today, Wizard Leaf. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here.
Awesome. We'll have to have you back. Thank you. Wow, it's been way too long since we've reviewed a game. Here's hoping with the Kickstarter we'll be able to get back into doing it a lot more. Besides playing more games, guess what else I'm excited about? That's right, to see what's on Kickstarter. Hit it, Princess Leaf.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leafs computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
First, we've got High Rise, a game of construction and corruption for 1 to 4 players. It will be on Kickstarter until Monday. That's right, High Rise is a city-building strategy board game with a bit of corruption, from the designer of The Networks, Wordsy, and Bad Medicine. In the game, you and your opponents are constructing skyscrapers in a somewhat reputable city. You'll move around the board on a one-way track, choosing any unoccupied space ahead of you, and doing its action, and waiting for everyone to pass you until you take your next action. Want to know more? Then go give my chat with Gil a listen. It's easily accessed through the update entitled 60,000 Stretch Goal will be included for all backers. Give it a listen and make sure you back High Rise before this Monday at 8:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's Monday, the 25th of March. Who rules your game group? Or is it everyone for themselves? No more. Because now you can totally let your inner villain out. But only in Big Bad Overlord. Big Bad Overlord is a competitive tabletop card and dice game where you use your luck and attitude to take over the world. Players assume the roles of evil dukes, each trying to destroy their rivals in order to become the new Overlord. It's a combat game with card drafting, bluffing, player elimination, and lots of bad puns. Players build their armies, form alliances, betray one another, and fend off the forces of good in the quest to become the greatest villain of them all. Did you catch my episode with the big bad overlord himself? If not, hurry and go listen before he burns your village. Want it burned later on? He's got you covered in my favorite pledge level. Burn your village last. However, during my interview, he convinced me to up my pledge so I can get the game. But if you still just don't want it burned first, get a load of this. If you pledge $1 or more, my numberless legions will burn your village last when they rampage through the countryside, wreaking havoc and destruction. But why not forgo the village burning and just get the game so you can be the one doing the burning? Only one way to do that. That's by backing Big Bad Overlord before this Wednesday, the 27th of March, and they have reached their funding goal, so it's going to be a reality that you don't want to miss out on. Have you heard of or seen Fuzzy Mage Fight? It's a card game for 2 to 6 players in which you play as fuzzy mages with unique abilities, fighting to become the most magical fuzzy mage ever. Their campaign funded in only 6 hours. In case you missed it, I sat down with a couple of the creators. You should go give that a listen. It's easily found by going to their campaign page and checking the update entitled Huge Update, Linen Yesh, a new 35k stretch goal, and so much more. It's at the very bottom of that update. Speaking of at the very bottom, on that link to my interview, at the bottom is also a giveaway they're doing, and you already get an extra entry by subscribing to this podcast. So go give it a listen and enter. Then back their campaign before this Wednesday, the 27th of March. We talked about it or teased about it during the sponsor spot of the episode, but Overbattle the All-War, Advantage, Battle, and Conquest. Those are the ABCs of sci-fi war. As you fight and unite under constant change, are you my friend or hiding as a foe? It's a war game with 0 setup time. Want to know more? Go give my last episode a listen. I'm way pumped for this one and hoping I get to play it sometime soon. Go check out the campaign and back Overbattle before Saturday the 20th of April. Spirits of Carter Mansion is a haunted house social deduction game where players are the spirits that haunt the house. I always loved going through the haunted house at Lagoon, which was an amusement park by my home growing up. So, a card game based on a haunted house, how cool is that? Hopefully we'll be able to work out a show with Keith. Had some tech issues before, but either way, go check out Spirits of Carter Mansion before Monday the 1st of April. Since you're already going over there to check out Spirits of Carter Mansion before the 1st of April, you might as well check out Getting Geeky with Game Relief Podcast Season 3. That's right, we're on Kickstarter. At the time of this recording, Friday night, we're less than $80 away from unlocking the last of what we need to get the digital puppets to be able to allow for all of the Leafs to join me in creating awesome video content for you. Here's a new one we're working on. For $6,000, we will bring every backer of this campaign a special ad-free monthly newsletter for the rest of 2019. This one is inspired by No Pun Included, who are also running a Kickstarter campaign currently. See our update, number 15, as well as Stephen Bonacore of Stronghold Games teased of getting him on the podcast as a stretch goal. If we can get our calendars aligned, then we'll get him on regardless. So go check it out and back it before the 1st of April. As well as I'm in talks with a recent backer of the campaign. You might know him from another podcast. It's Richard Bliss from Funding the Dream. That recently has been going crazy with content again, which I'm excited about. But we're in talks of getting me on the show in the coming months, so that's exciting as well. If you haven't heard it before and you're planning a Kickstarter, make sure you check out his Funding the Dream podcast. And now it's come to our least favorite time and your least favorite time. Time for us to get on with our lives and you to get on with yours. But in the meantime, I hope you'll go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geekfold by sharing this podcast with them. And like usual, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Gamer Leaf out.
Game over. Tune in next week to see if Gamerleaf and Dreams are respawned.